Hi, my name is Ken Schwartz of Precise Sharpening, and what I'm going to be doing in this video is to demonstrate a 220 grit Ume Nubatama stone. So that's the Nubatama stones, the Ume series of 220 grit stone. I had started using this stone a little bit earlier, and today I'll continue. What I'm going to do is to re-wet the stone, and the knife that I'm going to be using is a Weatern Deba, this knife, and this knife had a bunch of chips on it, and what I wound up doing on this knife was removing the chips with this extremely aggressive 60 grit Nubatama stone, which you can see in another review. An exceptionally nice stone. So what my goal is in this one is to refine this very coarse edge, and if you look at the scratch pattern on it, you'll see that it's very rough. You can easily see the direction of the scratches. It's a very coarse finish. I would rate it as comparable or perhaps even a bit rougher than the DMT double extra coarse or Atoma 140 diamond lapping plates. So since we've already tested this and we have a sense of the porosity of the stone, what I'm going to do is to just soak the stone and let it soak for a minute or so and go on from there. Again, we're going to be maintaining the same angle on this, but refining this surface. Right now what we have is a very toothy edge, a pretty sharp edge, and let's go from there and see how well the stone works for this purpose. Again, a 220 grit stone. So, since it had been previously soaked, you can see that even though it was a day or so ago, that it doesn't take as long to saturate. So again, we're going to find the angle, and it's a reasonably steep angle, and just start refining this edge. You can see that I'm not babying the stone, and I'm allowing the angle to stay the same. When I tilted the knife just a little bit earlier, you could hear it grabbing the stone but not cutting into it. So it's a very tough stone. Alright, let's give it a little splash and let's see how it's coming along. Okay, so the edge already is a good bit more refined when we compare it to this side, where you can see the scratches going at this angle, whereas over here you've essentially taken that scratch pattern out. So let's go at it a little bit more. Again, a very, very quick transition from the initial coarse finish to where it is right now. So given the level of coarseness that the scratch pattern was on this knife at 60 grit, and how quickly this scratch pattern has been eliminated for a finer 220 grit scratch pattern, I think it's worthwhile to see that this stone should work excellent for things like removing the scratch pattern of DMT and Atoma stones and so forth. Okay. So you can still see a little lint. It's still a fairly toothy edge, but the scratch pattern has been refined and you can successfully go on to the next grit. So that's basically what I wanted to demonstrate on this. I think that this stone, certainly after having been soaked before, resaturates very quickly, doesn't generate a lot of mud, very clean finish, very quick finish, very useful for removing extremely aggressive scratch patterns from things like DMTs, Atomas, 60 grit Nubatama stones, and so forth. Thank you very much for your attention. These are available at Chef Knives to Go. Again, in Ken's Corner. Again, the 220 Nubatama Ume Series stone. Thank you for your time.